Hello, hello, hello. I want to thank everyone for joining us for this webinar or this seminar that we're having right now. It is just a pleasure to be virtually amongst the beautiful queens that we have speaking for us today. This webinar or seminar is actually called Black Queens, an intimate discussion on telling our own stories, journalism, fashion, Black images, and body loving, not shaming. And we have with us, we have Janine Rubenstein. She's in the yellow. We also have Lyris Cross.
Yes.
And I think we're going to have Shalay West joining us a little bit later. So we're just waiting for her. But I want to get started with the two of you. First of all, I want to say thank you all for being a part of this discussion.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, and happy Juneteenth.
I know. When I got the invite, I was so excited. I was trying to figure out how to celebrate. So this is a great way to kick it off.
Absolutely. And it's virtual, so anyone can join in. So
Exactly.
I want to start with each of you, the question that I have. So talk to me about how you got started in your industry and kind of why did you choose that industry, or did it choose you?
I'll let you go, Janine.
Okay. Journalism. I mean, my mom literally still has a little letter, a note that I wrote when I was 7 years old that said, I'm going to be a journalist and I'm going to be a singer and I'm going to be a songwriter and I'm going to write for Essence magazine. And so it was kind of written for me, something I always wanted to do. And I just kept writing at the heart of all of my academia and all of my career goals. And it's just been that way throughout school. I was an English major at UC Berkeley here in the Bay Area. And I went from there to grad school at USC in LA for journalism, for print journalism. And it went, just on and on. I sought out opportunities at magazines, at newspapers. I started in hard news, actually, covering crime and human interest stories. That took me a lot of different places, from South Africa to Israel. And then I got an opportunity to join Essence for an extended internship that was so amazing. And that was like, my lifelong dream to get to Essence magazine. Beautiful, wonderful, amazing place. And I spent a lot of time there covering news. And then I got the opportunity to work for People magazine. And little did I know, 10 years later, I would still be there, no longer in the hard news capacity, but covering entertainment and music, and really just kind of crossing all those genres and how those things converge. I love it. I love what I do. I love telling stories. I think it's one of the most important things that we have in the world, are the stories that we tell. So yeah, just living my dream.
And I know Janine, you live it. Oh, so here we go. We have.
Hi, I'm sorry. Hi.
So introduce yourself.
Okay, so hi, my name is Soleil West. I am 12 years old and I'm the youngest professional runway model to walk amongst all adults in New York Fashion Week at 10 years old. And I am also a model, runway runway coach, a texture activist, an author, a CEO of my own t-shirt company, thechaichip.com, and an environmentalist.
Okay, wait. Say your age again, because you
I am 12 years old. Yes.
12 years old. That's what I wanted you to say your age again, because I mean, just to see or to hear all the things that you're doing at 12. I just want to ask you a quick question before we get to Lyris, but just talk to me about, how did you know you wanted to do all these things?
I feel like it just came naturally with me. But with modeling, I feel like that was like, it's definitely something that's a part of me, along with runway modeling. And mainly all of the other stuff, I just really enjoy doing it. And it's definitely just like a part of me. And I just knew that I definitely wanted to do it just once I just got introduced into it.
Lyris, I want to hear from you, but I also want to hear from Maisha Taylor. She's on too. So sorry I missed you earlier, Maisha. But Lyris, so talk to us about you and what you do and how it chose you or you chose it. Take it off mute for me.
Okay, there we go. Hello, everybody. I am Miss Lyris Cross. I am a pioneer in the plus modeling industry. I am a confidence coach, a runway legend. I am a new author of my book, Make the World Your Runway, and I'm a public speaker as well. And I stand for body positivity and racial diversity within the modeling industry. And I'm a model mother. I affectionately call Soleil West my model daughter.
Hi,
Yes, miss you, darling. And that's because when her video went viral, everyone kept tagging me and they just kept saying like, oh my God, if you were to have a daughter, this would be your daughter, because that walk, oh my goodness. So ever since a couple years ago, literally it's just been love at first sight with her and her mom and the rest of the family. And I originally hail from Baltimore, Maryland. I live here in New York City, and I knew at a pretty young age that I wanted to get into modeling. My mom always told me that my mom and my sister said they would do little photo shoots with me as a toddler, and I always knew how to move for the camera. But it was when a photographer came to shoot the campaign brochure for my father. He was running for Congress, and he was taking the family pictures and the pictures of my father by himself. And then he said, can I get a couple more pictures of your daughter alone? And he did. And when he came back a couple weeks later with the prints, he was like, she's really photogenic. You should get her into modeling. Fast forward, my junior year, I tried out for a models convention. I got callbacks from top agencies like Elite Models or in 17 magazine. They all loved me, but they wanted me to lose weight. And that was at probably like a size 6'8". I tried to lose the weight. I went back my senior year. It just still wasn't enough. But I didn't give up. There was something inside of me that told me that I was born to do it. I asked my parents, could I move to New York to pursue my dreams? When I got there, I ended up having a chance meeting where I met with the agents at Wilhelmina Models, and they had a plus division. I did not know that plus size modeling existed, but they looked like women that I saw every day. My mother, my aunts, cousins. They were beautiful women with just more meat on their bones. And if this was where I needed to be able to start my modeling career, then let's do it. And,
and you showed them on Project Runway, showing them off.
I am one of the first plus models to win the model portion of Project Runway season 16. If you haven't seen it, go binge watch it.
Absolutely, and big ups to you from being from Baltimore. I used to live in Baltimore. Lived out in Canton and Mount Vernon, so much love to Baltimore. Love it. Absolutely. Awesome. And Maisha, let's talk to you. So tell us a little bit about you and what you want people to know. I think she's frozen. Maisha Taylor, can you hear me? Okay.
She's one of our staff members who's
okay.
Co-host.
Okay, I saw her there, so okay. All right. So, Janine, I want to start with you with this one question right here. So I want to talk about, in your profession of journalism, talk to me about like the first lesson you had to quickly learn about success in your field, like what it took, and do you feel that you had to make any sacrifices to obtain that?
Oh, that's a good one. I guess the first real lesson I learned was to always have your notepad because news is happening all around you. I just remember, like I said, going into journalism, wanting to, write about the glitz and the glamour and the magazines you know, all of that, wanting to jump into that. And really the best education I got was covering crime, covering hard news. And that was even when I was in grad school in Los Angeles, you know, going out to crime scenes before the police even got there, you know what I mean? And just talking to the community, just hitting the pavement and making sure that I was always prepared to take down other people's stories, to just find all of the little bits and pieces of what was happening and record it. So that really fills out the story that you're telling people, that you're not just kind of cobbling together things that you find on Google and all of that. You never know what you're going to get when you really sit down and speak to someone. And it just reminds me of like just the new phase of like documentaries that we're in, and how you go on to Netflix, and some of the biggest things on Netflix right now are these documentaries, because people are sitting down with people that are from different walks of life, from different experiences, and they are getting those tidbits of information. And that's journalism. It is. And that's what always really attracted me to it. And I say I learned that because I forgot my notepad one day. And it was very bad.
Right.
It was very bad. So just being prepared, I think that was the overall experience that I had. And I took that with me to New York. And New York is a place where, I mean, it's where journalism lives, but
Right.
They have no time for people who aren't prepared and ready to do the work. And in my, you know, first few days at People Magazine, you know, it's known for being, you know, mainstream media, lots of entertainment, the Angelina Jolies and the Brad Pitts and all of that. But there's actually a very robust crime team at People Magazine. We're one of the only weeklies that still does hard news. And I started out on that crime and human interest team. And I just know that there was no time to wait. Like if something happened, I remember they put me on a plane to Nova Scotia, and horribly, I was like, I was on a map, like, where's Nova Scotia? Like,
So when you were in that situation, was it scary? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
It was terrifying, but I always kept my passion at my core. Like, why am I doing this? And once that flame, you know, goes out, I say for anyone, then you need to start asking yourself, okay, what else should I be doing? Because as scary as things were, like literally, you know, like I said, getting on planes to Nova Scotia and going to crime scenes, you know, like right after you're hearing, you know, on a police radio transmitter that something happened and you're running out and going to do it. If that's not your drive, if that's not your passion, then you're not going to be able to. You're going to question it. And then even now in my position working with entertainment, there are so many times I'll go to sit down with people and I'm like a super fan. And it's like, okay, you have to
Put that in check.
get yourself together and go and do this. And yeah, it's just like going back to your gut. Your gut is so important, I think, in any position, in any career, but definitely in journalism,
Right.
making sure that you are following that fire that's in you to get these stories out.
And speaking of fire, I kind of want to direct this question to both Lyris and Soleil. So you are in the world of modeling, the world of that we see, you know, even right now, we're seeing probably one of the biggest models out there, Naomi Campbell, talking about representation. And as two Black women. Soleil, I want to talk to you first about that. Just kind of like, what made you want to get into this industry that some people are saying, you know, some of the top models are saying it's so hard for Black women. Why did you want to tackle this industry at your young age? I think we're frozen right there. So technology, it's a virtual event, but Lyris, can you answer that for me?
Yes, I would say because I'm good at it, and and
know your worth.
yes, and if not me, who? If not me, who? If we're gonna break the glass ceiling, if we're gonna make advancements, I want to years from now, I want my nieces or my great grandkids to be able to say, because of my great grandmother and what she did in the modeling industry, now there's a level playing field. And this is why I continue to show up. I continue to use my voice. I continue to use my voice from interviews, but also use my beauty and my body. Because I show up, other people get to see a Black woman. Other people get to see a plus size woman in a different space where maybe they are not used to seeing them. I work a lot in the bridal industry. So in the bridal industry, it's very white. So it's a big deal for me to be a spokesperson for a company like Maggie Sotero because I'm Black, and then put on top of that, I'm plus size. That's not a body or a color that is usually seen in that space. And because I'm rather new in that space, it's making such great strides, and it's shaking up the market. I have a quick story. Okay. There was I was at market in Barcelona for Maggie Sotero, and there was a lady who came up to me. She lives in South Africa, and she takes care of the African region. And she said, "Oh my goodness, you don't understand how excited I am to see you in the dresses. You look amazing." And I said, "Thank you." She's a white South African lady. She said, "But I have to tell you this story." She said, one of my ladies who's one of my clients, she always orders from Maggie. She said, when she got the first campaign with you, she literally said, "Oh my God, my prayers have been answered." This is how powerful an image is.
Yes.
You said, because where this lady had her bridal shop, she usually takes the dresses, reshoots all the dresses on a Black model. So that way the African brides that are coming, because the area she's in is, mainly Black Africans, they're able to see themselves in the dresses. And this was the first time for one of the lines that she didn't have to put out her own money and reshoot them, so brides could see themselves. And they've just talked about how it's, even for Maggie Sotero, I've doubled sales just by using me, Right. That's a big deal. People need to be able to see themselves. Representation matters so much.
Absolutely, because you would imagine that Black women get married,
all the time.
And every woman, no matter what race you are, you're not stick thin. So like, why would they not want to see themselves in a magazine, on a campaign? It is so surprising that here we are in 2020 and we're still talking about this. We've talked about this, for so many years when we talk about imaging, when it pertains to, tocampaigns, whether it's fashion, whether it's just, something, celebrating buying a house. We don't see ourselves in that. And Janine, I want to talk to you, from the editorial side of that. What are the talks? Because I can talk about when we talk in my newsroom. What are the talks in your newsroom or the editorial meetings when it pertains to images of Black people?
I don't know how much detail I can go into, but no, these talks are had, and honestly, there are talks that I try to make sure I'm always there for, because I am the one at the table. I am the person that, can say, and not just the one. I have amazing colleagues and, and allies and at work and all of that who speak up. But I know that when I'm looking at something or when I'm presenting something, that I am a representative. I am the representative. And there are a lot of questions that come my way. And sometimes, I feel like colleagues may not want to make it that burden for me, but being at People Magazine, at, a huge platform like that, I know what that burden is. And I'm taking it upon myself to say, I am here to make sure that there is representation. I am at least, if nothing else, behind the scene. And I will say in the past few months, like, from Alicia Keys to Megan Thee Stallion to, like, you know, in terms of my coverage, I'm
Right.
like, look,
But all those representations matter.
it matters so much, and I have gotten so many thank yous from people, and people does an amazing job, I think, of, you know, of really kind of trying to cover America as best it can. But the conversations do get tough sometimes when you don't have the people at the table to say, hey, you know, that is a very, very white cover, or that is, you know, that is not, you know, representative of what we're going through. And the thing I love about, at least, you know, being there, is that there is always a conversation that is being had. The question is always coming up of, okay, what can we do? Maybe Janine, what can we do? Or what should we doing? And we don't have the answer all the time. And there is a lot of push-pull behind the scenes, but at least it's something that's even in the ether that we're dealing with.
And Soleil, so for you, I think you're on mute too, so make sure you unmute your microphone, because I want to talk to you about seeing those images. You know, like you see, you know, Lyris, what does that mean for you to see other Black models on the runways and photo shoots on campaigns? How does that influence you, and how important is that to you?
You know, it's definitely very important to me. It's like a big accomplishment. I definitely know it's like a big accomplishment, because it's not every day that you see a Black girl on a billboard or just in malls or anything. So it's definitely a big accomplishment, and you know, it makes me feel good, because you know, it feels good to know that we're being acknowledged.
And talk to me about, you know, when you go out for jobs or you're on the runway and people just talk about how great you are, you know, how does that inspire you to inspire other young girls?
Well, yes, it definitely inspires me, because I feel like, because people are encouraging me, then I should encourage other people, because it's not just me. Sometimes I need encouragement, so that means that some other people definitely need encouragement, whether it's regarding their hair or just how they look, because you know, sometimes they just don't like how they look, or they just don't like their hair.
Now she said something I think that is really important, and I want to address it to all of you, and any one of you could address this, but just the importance of hearing the encouragement from other women, especially women of color, because you know, the title of this is Black Queens, and how important to each of you, and Lyra, Lyris, you can start this one. How important is it for you to get those encouraging words from your fellow sisters?
It's very important. It's like looking in the mirror and someone speaking back to you. Someone who knows my struggle. Someone who knows what I go through doing my hair to get ready for something. Someone who knows my ups as well as my downs. Someone who knows what it feels like to be a Black woman. So when I accomplish certain things, they know what I went through to get to that point. It's so needed. Sisterhood is so needed. We have to big each other up. We have to support each other. We have to say, girl, I see you. You doing it, and keep doing it. You know, it's very important. That's why, like, even on my social media, I'm very interactive with my audience. I tell them thank you. I say hello. I encourage them. And every blue moon, I may post something and say, you know, I'm not having the best day. And then next thing you know, people are sending me DMs because they're like, you pour out so much, let me pour something back into you. And you need that. You need that from all walks of life, but there's just something special about getting it from your sisters.
Absolutely.
Right.
And Janine, how do you try to encourage that? Because, you know, you've worked with Essence magazine, and that is probably, at least growing up, I looked at it and it was always beautiful images of Black women. And for me as a son of a Black woman, you know, it was just beautiful to see that. Talk to me about what goes into creating these images that people see and also can draw encouragement from.
Yeah, I mean, it was very personal for me recently with everything that's been happening in the world, and particularly with the murder of George Floyd, and we decided to put out our cover story was George Floyd. And a colleague had asked me to write a story. She had seen something from my Instagram stories, and she said, "Would you write about this?" I had recently taken a cross-country RV trip with my family while Black, and we had stopped in Minneapolis just days before George Floyd was killed, and we had a run-in with the police. And it, everything went smoothly, but I just remember the look in my brother's eyes when he, put his hands up, and he was just, the cop hadn't even gotten out the car yet, and I just saw just my happy-go-lucky, sweet brother just freeze, not knowing what was going to happen. And I posted that on my Instagram, and a colleague reached out and said, "You need to write this up for the magazine." And I'm used to being behind the scenes, doing the interviews and being like you, Marcus. But I stepped out to do that. And I will say I got so much support, and from my white colleagues, Asian colleagues, everyone. But when my Black colleagues reached out, and their thank you just meant so much to me, because I knew it was something that was speaking to things that we just don't bring to work, that we don't say, that we haven't. And it was a bit of a relief when they told me that. And so that encouragement encouraged me even more to share my own stories, and to also just reach out and make sure I'm connecting. We'll grab lunch and things like that here and there, but I'm checking in on my sisters, in the workplace, and brothers, because we do have this shared experience. Like Lyra said, it's like looking in a mirror. And when you have someone that is voicing that and allowing you to have a space to be you in a majority white space, it means the world. And so I went forth, and I was approached by a few other people after I did that, to write up my story. And when I wrote up the full story, I went with Essence. I reached out to them and said I would love to, write it up. And so they did my full family's RV story, not just the run-in part. But I did that because, hey, there's some other Black queens out there, Black families that might want to take a cross-country RV trip. I know it don't look like we do that, but
Right.
it happens, and that representation matters. And I want to be able to put that encouragement out there.
Talk to me about what keeps you motivated within your particular industry. Lyris, talk to me, like you said before, you didn't even know there was an industry or a sector within the modeling industry for what they consider plus size models. Right. How do you continue to motivate yourself?
I think I continue to motivate myself because I think about just really my community. I think about the future. I think about as much as I've accomplished, I still have so many dreams that haven't come to fruition yet. Mm-hmm. And so, and truthfully, I know some of that is in part to racism and inequality within my industry. But thank God, I feel like right now we're at a pivotal place where things are about to shift in a whole other way. And all my many years of toiling is about to pay off on an even grander scale. So I'm excited about that. But I think it's really, I'm a very driven person, very driven. And I get that from my father, God rest his soul. My father continued to dream no matter what age he was. And I just, truthfully, it's almost like I'm still pursuing my modeling career as if I was the 18-year-old who just landed in New York. And I think another thing is just being able to see other people who are able to see a piece of themselves by me appearing in a campaign or in a magazine. Those images are important. I can't remember the statistics, but it was a whole documentary about how how powerful images are. And it said, we see thousands of images within a day, whether it's across TV, cell phone, whatever it is. So a lot of times, unfortunately, people may not read, but they see images all the time.
Absolutely.
So because those images are so important, it teaches us about ourselves. It teaches us good things and it teaches us bad things. And I want to be.
We have to create. Yeah, we have to create our images for ourselves. We have to create those within our own community. And it looks like we're running out of time. I wish I could talk to you all so much more. We are running out of time. But I want to thank all of you for being a part, sharing your words and encouragement to others. I hope people can take something from it. And Lyris, I know you have your book. Just real quickly, if you could just tell us, I see it there, so I don't want to miss that opportunity.
Yes, please get a copy of my book. It's called Make the World Your Runway: Top Model Secrets to Everyday Confidence and Success. The foreword is written by Project Runway's Tim Gunn. It's available on Amazon, or if you would like a signed copy, go to my website, which is lirisc.com, lirisc.com. It is the perfect guide to help you be the best you. Not to be your best Lyris, but to be the best you. It's kind of like my model life experiences meet life coaching. It'll give you renewed confidence, motivation, and I'm telling you, you're going to be your best you after reading that book.
All right.
Yeah, and Marcus, I was just going to say really quickly, one, Lyris, I'm getting your book because you're gorgeous. It's my first time.
Thank you.
So
you are gorgeous too.
So good reading you, Soleil. Everyone, if you can't, run out and pick up the issue of People on Stand Now, the George Floyd cover. We want to show advertisers, we want to show mainstream media that these stories are profitable, they are important, and they should be done across the board every single time. So we do that by picking up the issue and showing them that this is important to us.
Yes, pick that up. All right. Thank you, ladies, so much. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see the amazing things that you all are going to do even more. And just know that we're all here rooting for all of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.